It's simply that. And when Pierre Trudeau brought in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms in 1982, one of the omissions was property rights, and I think this is just simply deplorable. I'll give you an example of, with the firearms registry, how if we had property rights, maybe this wouldn't have happened. The firearms registry has become a shopping list for criminals because there are over 200 confirmed breaches. The RCMP have confirmed there are over 200 times when people have accessed that information and put people at risk. There have been robberies taking place. There was one recently in Toronto where the fellow registered his handgun collection and somebody broke in, didn't take anything else, simply took his guns. Same thing in Edmonton, okay? Fellow registered 2 very valuable guns. They didn't take anything else in his house. So this firearms registry is actually having the opposite effect, because the people who should have the right to privacy and to security of their property are being violated by the firearms registry. I could give you other examples. When I first started working on the firearms registry, I became aware that we really don't have much for property rights. John Diefenbaker back in the 1960s brought in a Bill of Rights and had property rights in there. But when the Charter came in, it overruled previous legislation. So environmental laws now can violate a landowner's rights to use his land, to lose the use of his land without compensation. We've got the issue of the Canadian Wheat Board on the prairies, where you've got 3 provinces under an act, and the farmers there cannot sell their wheat freely on the market. You can in Ontario, you can in British Columbia, well, some areas of British Columbia, and you can't on the prairies. That's a fundamental property rights issue, where government has taken and say you must sell your grain through the Canadian Wheat Board. And if you want to export flour, you first of all have to buy your wheat back. You don't own it. I mean, these are examples of how property rights are essential in a free and democratic society. And if we had that kind of right here in Canada, some of the things that government is doing and some of the laws would have to be reviewed, because they do violate property rights, and the gun registry is one of them.
You know, just touching on it, I remember down in Oklahoma there was a fellow running for state senate, Don Black, who even had issues with private insurance companies making lists exclusively within their computer systems of a registry of sorts, you know, of the guns that somebody owned, because there were issues of criminals accessing private databases of insurance companies and gun owners and what they own to be able to hit them for stealing guns. So even there, yeah, it's
Some of the things that have been done with the database, giving it to a survey company to phone up gun owners to see how they like the gun registry. Like there, that data was, RCP claimed was secure, but it went out, and you can never be sure. If they can't even control and make it secure within their own computer system, how can you trust somebody at arm's length?
Yeah, no, I understand. Now, as well, I like to do a bit of a biography when we do these types of sessions. And you were a teacher for 24 years. So, I mean, people think of you as you know, the gun registry guy and the property rights guy and everything else. But, you know, you did teaching even longer than you've been here in Parliament. And I was wondering, are there any lessons that you learned about education and the systems we have in this country, other countries, your thoughts on it? I mean, what would you come away with in terms of lessons?
Oh my, you got hours now. Oh yes, I mean, as a teacher over that length of time, you do pick up a lot of things. I think one of the things that really needs to be emphasized is that people need to come first. And you have to, in your educational system, make sure that you are providing something that will be of benefit to the people that you're teaching. Sometimes we forget to teach them to think for themselves, to provide 2 sides to an issue in the classroom. Sometimes there tends to be only one side of an issue that is given, like in a science room or anything like that. Challenging people to think is something that is absolutely essential. And sometimes we don't even allow people to see other points of view. I think of what happened at the University of Ottawa here, where somebody who came in and was not popular with a certain element in the university was able...
Ann Coulter.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
You may not agree with her, but she had the right to present another point of view. And sometimes in our educational systems, you don't have people allowed to present another point of view, and that happens all the time. So I also taught 5 years in other countries. I was in West Africa for 3 years, and in the Solomon Islands for almost a couple of years. I was in an Indian reserve. And sometimes in our society we take for granted some of the things and the huge benefits we have. And I think by and large students here do not appreciate what they have. Sometimes when things come too easy and they're so-called free and there's not much sacrifice has to take place to get these things, such as an education, people don't appreciate it. But if you'd have to work more for it and so on, you'd learn to appreciate it a lot more. And developing the mind is something that should be more important almost than anything else in our society. And I think our schools lose sight of their actual purpose. When I was teaching in the Solomon Islands, they had more of a mastery learning approach. And by that, they had to master a certain amount of material. It wasn't this touchy-feely good stuff we tend to have in Canada here. They had to meet certain standards and goals, and the pupils, the students that went through those schools, their quality of student that came out was, I hate to say it, I think quite superior to what we turn out in our schools here. Employers would be really looking to get those students because they knew how to do math, they knew how to write, they had really very good science backgrounds, everything like that. So I'd like to see our schools get back to a little more of the mastery learning type of approach.
Well, there you go. That's maybe a subject for even another one of these. But sir, I want to thank you for your time, not only with us here today, but your time in Parliament, your time fighting good causes, and I know you've been a good, solid Conservative, sir, in the years that I've been here and in the years before I got here. And I hope you'll be here for many years yet, because you're an inspiration for me to carry on the struggle to promote these conservative public policy ideas in the forum we do. So it's been an honor, sir, and may you have many more years.
Thank you, Rob. I have to say, I'm really only doing my job. I come, it's a constant battle, and you get up every day and you just keep marching. And we're a team. We work together. And I couldn't do what I'm doing without your support and the support of my colleagues. I mean, we're all in this together, and I just see myself just working in my little corner of the world, and happened to come across an issue that I thought really needed some development and some enlightening. And so you just keep marching into battle.
Keep marching. That's what conservatism does.